Hey everyone, my name is David Dunbar, or the theme park evangelist. I'm at TJ's house doing my very first Life as a Working Disney cast member series outside of my own house. TJ is here with me. He's been having a very long, busy day dealing with his car problems. Hopefully tomorrow will be better for him. So today's video is going to be on what it was like to work on a rainy day at Disney's Hollywood Studios. I don't think TJ has heard anything about this, so this will be his first time hearing it too. When I worked at Disney's Hollywood Studios on rainy days, unfortunately it was some of the most miserable, boring days I've ever experienced in my life over there. And the reason why I say that, when I would come in to work, it normally is pouring rain, so I would come in with my poncho on, right? And I would be thinking to myself, well, I don't know what the day is going to be like. So hopefully the day will be either pretty steady or it'll be really slow. If you do hear any barking, I should say not barking, barking or howling in the background, that's TJ's dog, his 3-year-old puppy. We're trying to keep him out of the way so it won't be a distraction to me. He does not like to be cooped up at all. Anyway, so I would usually have to go straight to the boat. Now, which we called, or which was Min and Bells, by the way. Sometimes I would be one of the fortunate people that would be very happy to press the button on CDS, a cast deployment system, out in outdoor food and vending, so Backstage, and be like, oh, cool, I only have to go over to Oasis Canteen. So I'd be like, okay. So I would walk a little bit on stage, and I would go to Oasis Canteen. Now, this place, by far, was my least favorite to be on a rainy day, because of the fact that when it poured rain, unfortunately, it made it really slow. And we are in a tiny little place, and I'm thinking to myself, you have got to be kidding me right now. I have this tiny little shack to be in, and there's like nobody coming. There's no restroom. You have to either go to ABC Commissary to use the restroom, or you have to walk to Min and Bell's Dockside Diner to go use the cast restroom over there. So I was like, sometimes we have to use trash bags or whatnot to cover ourselves if it was raining. And if the storms got really bad sometimes, we would have to, well, not really sometimes, not something that we would have to do necessarily, but it was kind of interesting just watching the guests running around. They were like, there's lightning or there's thunder in the air, and sometimes I would even see them running to their strollers and getting a few things and then running right over to Frozen Sing-Along Celebration and just kind of hunting under the canopy. And I'm thinking to myself, why would you even leave your shelter, especially if there's all this lightning? We all know that Florida is the lightning capital of the world. I'm just saying that right now. And when I was at Min and Bell's Dockside Diner, even though it was pouring rain, at least we had a restroom there. And the only position that sucked to be at was at the cash register, especially when we did like a rotation. And we didn't do it often. It was more so when management said, okay, we need this person here, this person there, or this person needs to go on break. So either that person would have to leave the protection, which they at least had an awning, and like quickly run around the corner, come back inside, and hope you didn't get too wet, or you have to make a run to the employee cafeteria. At least on the bright side of working in Min and Bell's Dockside Diner, you were only a few minutes away from the employee cafeteria. And I hated being in the employee cafeteria when it was about to rain, because I would sometimes be watching and like, please don't rain, please don't rain. And sometimes the lightning would be really bad. And I always thought to myself, I have to go back to work. Like, even though I clocked back and I felt like I had to go back, And sometimes management would say to me, if it jeopardizes your safety, don't feel inclined to come back right away. Because they understand if the lightning's that bad that you have to stay right there where you are. And I thought to myself, well, some ways I get that, some ways I don't know. It's like I'm only going to be running there for a few minutes. I've got this rain suit on that makes me feel really uncomfortable, but honestly, I'm willing to put up with it just for now. And then when I get over there, I just breathe myself, finally, free from that rain. But at the same time, that dreadingness of knowing that there was a bad rainstorm coming when you're trying to enjoy your personal time, I guess you could say, in the employee cafeteria, which I said before, the employee cafeteria at Disney Hollywood Studios was by far my favorite of every employee cafeteria I've been to. I've been to Magic Kingdoms, I've been to Epcot's, I've been to Hollywood Studios, and I've been to Animal Kingdoms. So I've been to all four of them. I've been to all four of them at one point or another. And of course, Hollywood Studios is the very first one you're ever going to hear about. Because you'll get to hear about all four. I mean, I'm not going to say too much, but I will say this much. Oh, TJ got something to eat. What is it? Ooh, popcorn. Is that what you were doing? Cool, and it's fresh hot. Oh, man. Thank you. Oh, poor guy has barely had anything to eat all day. Yeah, I was just talking about how Oasis Canteen was a different experience to work at on a rainy day due to the fact that you're in this tiny little shack, right? And you don't have a lot of room. And also you have to run to the restroom, which was about 5 minutes away. And when it's raining, you have to protect yourself versus Min and Bell's Dockside Diner. At least you have the benefit of having the restroom right there. And I was also commenting, I hated when I was on my break in the employee cafeteria and just watching that rainstorm coming in. They were like, no, don't let it rain, don't let it rain. And then it would start pouring, and then there would be all this lightning. And you're like, no, I was 5 minutes away from ending my break. It could have waited. Isn't that the worst?
Yeah.
So, more or less, that was like some of the worst things. And not to mention the fact that there was literally no guests around when there was rain. I was like, come on. It's so slow. It's so boring. When you're at least working counter, you can at least see the outside because at least you know who's around. But when you're in the back, you literally have nothing but a friggin' wall to stare at. So you're just like wondering to yourself, I wonder what's going on out there. Unless you're wearing a watch, you have no idea what's going on out there at all. I was like, at least, well, I can look at the time, you know. I'm not wearing my watch right now. I was just giving you that as an example. But, yeah. The moral of the story is working at Disney on a rainy day is not always the most exciting experience in the world, but it is always funny and entertaining watching the guests freaking out over rain or lightning. I know there's a lot of people that come from all over the place, and they may not always be 100% experienced with Florida weather. Okay, I'll do my best here. Oops, sorry. I'll pick that up in a minute. Not every guest, unfortunately, is going to be always experienced with Florida weather. I definitely learned that the hard way working at Walt Disney World, especially at Hollywood Studios, and that's kind of where I first learned about it. And Magic Kingdom, I didn't really notice it as much, but Hollywood Studios, it was definitely apparent. But if I remember correctly, I think the next chapter, now it's on my laptop, so every time I use my laptop, which is now at my friend Dell's house, I'll have to clarify what the next chapter is, but if I remember correctly, the next chapter after this should talk about probably why I left Hollywood Studios and went to attractions, because I believe that's kind of the direction I went to next, because I don't want to dwell too much on each thing. I definitely wanted to get to the next thing. And you guys, the next part of my series, I believe, should be going into what it was like working at Magic Kingdom, the next park I transferred to, and what it was like working in attractions, and kind of how I felt when I first learned that my transfer got accepted. So, until then, we will see you guys in the next vlog. I'm sure that TJ may or may not be there tomorrow. If TJ's not there, there's a chance that Kay might be there. So that's why I'm saying we. But until then, we'll see you guys in the next vlog. And always remember, you can do all things through Christ strengthens you. Have a great day. Peace out.